All right, this is Chris with Aerotech. Today I'm going to walk you through on how to download the print drivers for your Konica Minolta device. There's a few ways this can be done. There is some preloaded, if you will, print drivers that come with the newer operating systems. And sometimes it even has like model specific PostScript print drivers, but they're very generic. They're very limited. They don't support all the functions and features that you'll get with the model specific driver that you'd want to download from Konica's website. So I'm going to walk you through on how to do that, and we'll go over a few things at the end. But the first step, or the easiest way to do this, is through our website. So if you go online, go to goaerotech.com. It's going to pull up our page. You'll see some menu options at the top, and you're going to go over to support. And in the submenu, you'll see download drivers. You're going to click on that. And if you're on the Konica Minolta, then you're just going to simply select the Konica Minolta option once it loads. Right here, this little green box, click on that, and that's going to direct you to Konica's website. Konica has a few places on their site where you can download drivers, but this page here is the easiest one to navigate, so I always recommend this one. So on this quick search is where you'll put in the model number of your machine. If you don't know your model machine, you can either contact us, and we'll have that information for you. But if you're near the machine, if you just look at the very front door, you should be able to find what model machine you have. Usually it's located in the bottom left area of the front door. It'll say BizHub, and then C if it's color machine, and then whatever model it is. So for example, C654E is a model that we're going to use for this tutorial. So if you come to this quick search, just type in the C654E, or whatever model you have, and I typed that in wrong, 654E, and then just click on this link down below. It should pop up and fill everything else in, so the BizHub. And off to the right, you'll see some blue boxes. We're going to click on drivers. If you are on an older browser, there's a chance this page may not load. I've seen that. So if you're using Internet Explorer or just an outdated internet browser that hasn't been updated in a while, if it does not load this, try a newer browser or update your browser, and this page should come up for you. So once you click on drivers, you're going to want to scroll down and find your operating system. Not a big deal on the Windows systems, especially if it's a newer laptop. Anything Windows 7 and up, anything newer is going to be Windows Windows 7 and up. All the drivers are going to be the same. So the Windows 7, 8, 8.1, Windows 10, they're all going to be the same. If you are on an older system, like an XP or a Vista, then you do want to use those drivers. But again, anything newer, anything made into the last 10 years should be Windows 7 and up. So I always just go over the Windows 10 64-bit. But again, if you have an older, like a Windows 8, it's fine. It's the same driver. It's going to have you the Twain drivers first, which you don't need for printing. We're going to need the PCL driver. So you're going to click on PCL. And the top one's going to be your latest version, so that's the one we're going to want to use. So you'll see below is version 5.1. This is 5.3. Don't be alarmed if this says Windows 10 and this says Server 2016. The driver is just made to work across all kinds of platforms or operating systems, and they're just going to list one in the download file. The Server 2016 is the same driver. That's going to work for your Windows 8 and your Windows 10. So don't be alarmed. Just download this first one. It's going to be a zipped file. So you're going to click here. And it's going to be zipped, so you can't just install it after you download it. You have to extract it first. So just click Save and don't click Open. If you're using Edge as your browser, it's going to give you an option to open the folder when it's done downloading. If you're using your browser and you don't see that message, just go into your Downloads folder in your Windows Explorer, this little file folder at the bottom, go to your downloads and you'll find it in there. So just give this a moment to download. And it's got its own setup file we're going to walk through, so it's pretty easy. So perfect. We're going to click on Open Folder. And here is the one we downloaded. You can see I've downloaded a few of these over time. So you're just going to right click on it and click extract all. Put a checkbox here to show files, that way you don't have to go searching for it. Just going to open it up for you once you click extract. This will just take a moment. Almost there. Perfect. Okay. So here is your driver folder. So what you'll do is open this guy up, and there's going to be two options. One is setup and one is setup 64. Most computers these days are Windows 64 systems. If for some reason you are to open up this file and you start going through the process, which we're going to go through next, and it says this is incompatible, close out of the setup wizard and just come back and click the regular setup. Very rare that anyone's going to run into this day, but it is possible. But we're going to do setup 64. So if it's quicker to just click setup 64, and you'll only get a step or two into this, and they'll tell you if it's incompatible versus going in and finding if you're 32-bit or 64-bit if you're not familiar. So click on setup 64. You're going to get the installation license agreement, which I know everyone reads, and then click agree. This is already configured to just click next pretty much through this. You're not going to really need to make any changes here until we get to the very last page. But if you want to double check, it's going to be set for install, and IPv4 is what we want. So click next. It's going to go out and find the machine automatically on your network. If for some reason it does not automatically find the machine, one of two things is most likely the issue. The first being you're probably on the incorrect Wi-Fi. So a lot of offices these days will have like a guest network or just a separate network that they use for different things. So you're going to want to make sure that you're on the same network as your Konica device. So if you're not seeing this, that's going to be the first thing to check. Is just come in here and click on your Wi-Fi and just make sure you've got the right one selected. If it's not, if you're on the right Wi-Fi and it's still not coming up, just make sure the machine's turned on. It could simply just be turned off. So it's got to be on to find it automatically. You got to be on the right network. So once this pops up, put a checkbox in there, then click next. PCL is the driver that we're going to want to use for this. You do have the option to download the PostScript and the fax driver, but those are just on an as-needed basis. So just leave it set for PCL and click next. We're just confirming what we're going to do here. That's the IP of the machine, the language, and the driver that we're installing. This will just take a moment to go through this install process, and then we're going to have one last step, and that's where we're going to make a few changes, potentially. Okay, so we're here. You'll see default printer. So if you want this driver to be your default printer now, you're just going to leave this as so. It's just letting you know this latest one that we're installing will now be your default printer. If you don't want to change it, just click the drop down and click do not change, and it won't change it. So we're going to select that. If you want to rename the printer, especially if you have other Konica devices, I would recommend doing so. But we're just going to do printer demo. Yeah, we'll just leave it as that. Click OK. You'll see it changes the name now. The properties you're not going to be concerned with. You're really just going to want to deal with the print settings. This is where you're going to set the defaults for single-sided, black and white, particular paper trays, sorting, things like that. By default, the newer Konicas, the drivers, are set for double-sided in color, and most people do want that changed to single-sided in black and white. So to do that, click on the Layout tab. You'll find the two-sided option. We're going to change that to one-sided. And under the Quality tab, you're going to see Auto Color, and you can change that to grayscale. So we're going to OK that. So when you print jobs after this is installed, and you know you've got your documents you want to try printing, you can change those on the fly as needed from your Properties option in whatever application you're working in. It's just always, once you close out of those, it's going to default back to these settings here. Once you've got those set how you want them, then you can click Print Test Page just to confirm that it is working and is printing. Then that's it. Then just click Finish. That driver will now be accessible through your control panel if you need to make any changes later on. So if you click on your Windows icon, it's a little harder to get your control panel on the newer operating systems. So just right click and then go to search and just type in control. And you'll see control panel here. And under hardware and sound, you'll see devices and printers. And just scroll down. I have a ton of drivers downloaded, but you'll see printer demos, the one we just installed. And if you right click, you go to printing preferences. I just have multiple drivers on the same IP as why you're seeing two, but you should only see one. And you'll see that same screen. So if you need to make any changes after you've installed it, or if you forgot to set some settings, you can always come back in here and make changes to the defaults. And just if you do make any changes, say we set the color, click apply. It will not keep those changes unless you click that. I'm just going to click cancel there. And that's pretty much it. Some potential issues you could run into when trying to download the driver. One we went over in that you could have the 32-bit versus 64-bit. So just make sure you're choosing the right one there. Make sure you download the right model driver. It will not find the machine automatically if, say, you have C360 and you put in C654E. So make sure you do have the right driver or the right model selected. Some other issues that I see, a little more rare, but it can happen. If you have it set up, it finds the printer and you're printing the test page and nothing is coming out, or you're just getting a flashing blue light and nothing comes out, your printer probably has the account code or user authentication feature enabled on the machine. There are some settings that are going to need to be set to make that work correctly. I will do that in another tutorial video for you guys shortly that kind of walks you through on how to configure these to work with those account codes. Another option or potential issue, if you go to install this driver and you get a pop-up that says you need admin rights, you're probably on a workstation that is restricted by your IT. So you're going to need an admin username and password to install this software. So you may need to get that from your IT or just have them log on remote and do that for you, and then you can finish the installation from there. Any questions, issues, shoot us an email or go on our website. We prefer the website. So if you come in here and you do request service, just name, machine ID number, especially if you have multiple machines, so you know which one, your contact info, and just some issues that you're having, and click submit, and we'll get the support ticket and we'll respond and help you get it back up and running. So that's it, guys. That's how you can install a print driver on a newer Windows system. Let us know if you have any problem. Thank you.